Hey y'all, hey all. It is Anissa. I am here at Journeying with Jesus. Here with Journeying with Jesus. Here is Journeying with Jesus. As y'all see, I'm in a different spot. I am not at my desk because I was tired. I was pretty tired, but I'm trying to, post, and especially when I feel like I've been highlighting something to me, I'm like, okay, I need to post on Friday. So I'm here. Sometimes we gotta do it when we don't feel like doing it. We never always feel like doing what God say do. But I told y'all before that I'm whispering also because my son is asleep over there. But I told y'all before that this has been a time of growing, grieving, changing, evolving for the better. You can change, and sometimes it's not for good. You can change for bad, but this is for the good. And something that's been highlighted for me for a minute now has been caterpillars and butterflies. And like I said, as a kid, I like caterpillars. They were like brown or black and furry, and I just thought I like stuff with fur. Like I like to rub on fur, and so maybe that's why I like caterpillars. But I just like them. And then as I got older, I started to like butterflies. And I feel like in the past months, especially with me growing and the things that's been going on inwardly, God has been highlighting the changes of a caterpillar and butterfly. So today I have a poem for y'all because I was writing like caterpillar things that had to do with that topic for a minute now, and I finally, like, I was writing something this week, and then it just seemed like me and my babies was watching TV, and I would see caterpillars and them talking about the life changes of caterpillars and butterflies. And I was like, I ain't never seen this episode of Sid the Science Kid, but this episode want to talk about butterflies and caterpillars. And so here I am today to talk to y'all about caterpillars. Caterpillars are an insect or animal. I don't know what they do outside, but caterpillars are an insect, I think, that is overlooked, but there's so much beauty in the caterpillar. And yeah, we just gonna talk about it. So caterpillar, no one likes me. I'm furry, hungry all the time. When people see me, they squint or think that I should die. Then I look at you. You're a cool butterfly, so popular, so adored, so well liked. When will my time come? I keep shedding the skin 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Again, you say it's all part of this process within. New wine can't fit in old wineskins. I'm so hungry. Yes, hungry for more. Please satisfy this feeling. You say you have a cure? Wait, what's this shell? I've never seen this before. Protection to break me down in order for me to grow? New heights take flight. In cocoon, things changed. It was dark, I cried. Parts were rearranged. Under his protection, things were unveiled. Layers started to peel. She started to heal. caterpillar. And so, first part, no one likes me. I'm furry, hungry all the time. When people see me, they squint or think that I should die. When I read that, I think of a kid speaking and just talking about themselves, When I read this now, I kind of think back to when I was around 13, 14, 12, and I was starting to learn more about God. And around that time, I was very, very self-conscious and just hard on myself. I was starting to gain weight and just noticing that, and just comparison in middle school and things of that sort. And I remember looking at certain people on the internet and I'm just like, wow, they're that, like they're really what I envisioned beauty to be. They're beautiful. And even for a caterpillar, people see furry, people see spots, people see a small creature that maybe shouldn't be there, and they're like, nope, you shouldn't be here, squish, And I know as a kid I was sometimes picked on for different things, and I just wanted to be more. I wanted to be more as a kid, and people probably can relate to that. You could probably relate. Just very self-conscious and not confident in who I was. So then it says, then I look at you. You're a cool butterfly. So popular, so adored, so well liked. And when I read this part now, I think of comparing myself as a kid to people on the internet. But I also think of when I was looking at like Pinterest of things that I wanted to be, how I wanted to be as a woman, and kind of like having like a vision board of like how I wanted to grow in different aspects. And I think of that and I'm like, little do we know that in order to go there, you have to grow here. And I did not know that. And so that goes into the, when will my time come? I keep shedding this skin. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times again, because I had wanted to now be something more. When will my time come? And so it's like a prayer, like, Lord, I want to be the woman you want me to be. And then once we kind of see, I want to be a woman that's clothed with strength and dignity. I want to be a woman of integrity. I want to be this type of woman, and having it to line up with God's word, hopefully. Sometimes I know for me it probably don't sometimes, but y'all get what I'm saying, hopefully. But then to get there, you got to shed off a layer of yourself, of your old self. And that's where the grief comes, because this flesh is dying daily. But I'm growing at the same time, but I'm grieving because my skin is shedding, like layers of me are shedding off. And that's hard. Like we even though I'm like, no one likes me, I kind of like some of these parts of me, just like some of them, or it's just new. It's uncomfortable. And so I keep shedding this skin one time, two times, three times, again, it's like, will it end? Will it stop? Will it stop? You say it's all part of this process within. New wine can't fit in old wineskins. And when I think of that part, new wine can't fit in old wineskins, I think back to the beginning of 2024 when I made this poem called, I think it was Servants. And it was just like something that, I don't know if I read that verse, but or I heard somebody explain it, but it was something that like stuck with me. Like, God is doing something new. And so when I say new wine can't fit in the old wine skins, it's like God just giving me that gentle reminder that this new that I'm doing is going to take up so much space. We got to make more room, you know? Like, we got to make more room, spiritual room. We got to let some stuff go, girl. Like, let it go, which is hard. And like, it's not. Maybe it can be easy, but for me, it was hard. It was hard. And so I'm so hungry. Yes, hungry for more. Please satisfy this feeling. You say you have a cure. And so when I read this, I think back to when I was 12, 13, 14 years old, going through puberty. And I remember I like food. I still like food. And it's like I think when I'm thinking of it now, it's almost like a parallel to that. But it's also a parallel to what I needed during that time, because during that time I was also being abused. And I remember I was learning about the supernatural. I was learning about I first really learned about, during that time I was more focused on the evil, like what is hell, what is this stuff, like, you know. And then it started to gradually just hungry for more of God. And I feel like during that time, that's when God, you know, started to, well, that's one of the times that God was pursuing me, and I was hungry for more in life, but I didn't know that what I needed was Him, because He gave me a freedom that I needed during that time to be able to stand up and speak. And so I was hungry for more. I think spiritually, I was hungry for more. And this past week, I saw a video of myself from around that time, and it made me. I had to like stop the video, because I was like, wow, like, you really were a kid. Like, you know, that was something that I had battled with for a while, was understanding, like, around that time, and you said you were a kid. And so when I look back, I just see this, just the child likeness during that time. And just, it was almost like I like that girl needed so much more than what she had during that time. But that's for another poem. So I was hungry for more. Please satisfy this feeling. You say you have a cure. Wait, what's this shell? I've never seen this before. Protection to break me down in order for me to grow. So reading this now, I think that during that time, after I stood up to the person that was abusing me, and just was learning more about God, it was like a quiet time in my life. I explain it as that. I was doing sports, and I was reading a lot, and I listened to a lot of music, but I wasn't really like, it was just, I just remember quietness. I remember coming in the house after the sports and the house was quiet. It was a certain type of peace that I felt like I had during that time. But I feel like I was also in my own world. Like, even though I was going to track practice, field hockey practice, I was on the bus listening to music pretty much by myself. Like, I was like sit on the sideline long as he's sitting with me. Like, I was my own type of person. And so I think back of during that time how it was, and I was pretty okay with not being in the crowd. Then I also think about now, and I know some people are like, you keep going back and forth. It's because there was, like I said, when I was 12, 13, 14 years old, I feel like that was the time that God saved me. Like, at that time, it was like God saved me. A big part of my story was him saving me, and me being able through his word to stand up to the person that abused me. And then I feel like he saved me many other times, but a pivotal moment was from the numerology in 2024. So that's why I keep on going back to those times, because I see similar things and how I may have handled it back then compared to how I'm now handling this growth. I was growing then. I remember a girl, she had seen me for the first time in a while, and she said something like, "You've changed. Something is different about you. Like, you're so different now." Because when I was a kid, oof, different Anissa. And then you met me after the growth and the years later, and it was just like a new person. Hint, caterpillar and butterfly. But now when I think about it and what's going on in my life, and I read, wait, what's this shell? I never seen this before. Protection and break me down. In order for me to grow, it's like, wait, I didn't know that this had to happen in order for me to get there. And it's a bit harder to not be in the crowd and, fear of missing out. And sometimes are people thinking about me and how I'm doing? Back then, I wasn't really worried about that. I wasn't on. Back then, I didn't have Instagram. I didn't have a Snapchat. I didn't have a Facebook. I didn't have really a big way. I had like Kick, but I really talked to the people that I knew then. But I didn't have a way to talk to a lot of the people that I knew from back then. And now I can talk to people that I knew back then, or I can see how they're doing. And sometimes that is a challenge because the shell can be used as a way to protect me. Like, no, I don't need you to focus on what's going on out there, because I don't need you to compare. I don't need you to feel like you're missing out. I need you to take in this time of growing. And I'm like, wait, hold on. I didn't know me growing meant me having to be away from certain people or certain things. But it is in order for me to grow. So then I take a break. And I feel like the break symbolizes the transition. And I guess the next part is maybe like an interlude. I see it visually of the in between almost, and like a narrator speaking during that time is saying, new heights take flights, and cocoon things changed. It was dark, I cried, parts were rearranged. Under his protection, things were unveiled. Layers started to peel, she started to heal. And hey, the narrator is maybe future me. When I write this stuff, I be kind of I don't even like to say when I write this stuff because I be feeling like God is pouring through me. But it be speaking to me when I write it and then when I read it. And so I hope that y'all are able to follow, and I also hope that God speaks to you in the way that you should hear it in the moment. But yeah, it's like the older version of myself, or the version of myself that's out of it, looking at it and speaking to her. Kind of like when I told you this week I saw an old video of me, and me back then has no idea of what's going to happen. She don't know that she is going to go in a cocoon, that she's going to stand up, and that things will change. But I believe she was hungry for more. But now that I look at her, I can tell her, like, if I could say, something to her, I would say, like, things are going to change, and it's going to change for the better. You keep holding on. And so that's what I think of kind of when I read this part, just an older version of me speaking to me, not speaking to me, but speaking about that time, seeing what's going on and saying, new heights take flight, in cocoon things change. It was dark, I cried, parts were rearranged. Under his protection, things were unveiled, layers started to peel, she started to heal. And so that's Caterpillar. That is one poem of, I don't know what to call the collection, maybe Metamorphosis, I'm not sure yet, but this is a poem that means a lot to me. And I feel like there are many different caterpillar stages in our life, because it's going to be many moments in our life where no one likes us. I mean, somebody probably do, but you get what I'm saying. A lot of people don't like us, or someone doesn't like us, and we see, like, with, like, I'm furry and I'm hungry all the time. When people see me, they squint or think that I should die. Like, just not feeling the best about ourselves, or people just not thinking the best of us, and then we starting to feed off of that, and then us looking at the person I want to be with, be like, and saying, you're a cool butterfly, so popular, so adored, so well liked. And the caterpillar is looking at the butterfly and comparing their self to them, but like I said, it's beauty. I believe it's beauty in the caterpillar. There is, and that's just something that I have to remember. Like, when you speak to somebody, they may be a caterpillar, but you don't know that they got wings. It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, that's Caterpillar. I hope that it speaks to you the way that it needs to, that God ministers the poem to you in the way that's supposed to. And I hope that y'all enjoy, and if y'all are able to comment a time, if y'all are open to it, where you have felt this, like a caterpillar, in the in-between, uncomfortable, and just not knowing that, oh, in order for me to get there, I gotta go through this. Like, it's like, huh? I did not know this was in the fine print. But that it just is, it's a journey that I believe is worth it. So breeds resilience. So, okay, y'all. I hope that y'all enjoy, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.